Welcome back to Afternoon Live. Our next guest was a successful television reporter and anchor whose life spiraled into addiction. Her upcoming memoir shares the story of her descent and what it took to build herself back up. We welcome the author of Stand By, Beth McDonough. Thank you so much for being with us today, Beth.
Oh, Hannah, I'm honored. Thank you. Hello.
You are so vulnerable in sharing your story, and I really appreciate you going there because it will help so many people. What was it like for you to relive some of these experiences writing the book?
You know, early on, it was very difficult. I was on house arrest for 37 days, which is a lot of time to be up in your head and be with yourself, right? And so I know some people wait till they're safely on the other side before they write a book, but I had 37 days. And so I sat down and started just hammering away. And it's not a soft start. Chapter one, we open up and I take readers into the jail cell where I woke up on a cot surrounded by strangers with a story about me. And there you go, my mugshot. The mugshot was on TV when I woke up in a jail cell.
That is just, it's one of those things you couldn't write it as fiction, right? People wouldn't believe it. It's such an incredible moment to begin with. Tell me about your young life as a reporter. I could so relate to you being out there pounding the pavement, working sources, and people think working in TV is very glamorous.
Right. Oh my goodness. They think that. So, you want to dispel that a little bit, right? So, I started in the small markets and worked my way up. And I am someone who's forged in fire. I anchored for a while, but I love the action and the adrenaline and being at the intersection of chaos and excitement. And I covered murder, death, destruction, mayhem, really, really big stories. And not because I was voyeuristic, but because I just thoroughly love to hear from people on what it would take for them to survive situations that they've been through in life. And lo and behold, here I am.
So tell me about how your addiction progressed, because it sounded like you weren't really a heavy drinker early on, but these things come up over time. A heavy pressure job and all those things contribute.
You bet. Deadlines and pressure and breaking stories, that was my life, and I loved it, and I craved it. When I was younger, my parents had begged me not to drink. They said, don't ever drink. It runs in the family. And you don't always listen to your parents. My parents were not big drinkers at all. But as it turns out, and I learned in therapy and speaking with other family members, that my grandmother died from alcoholism. I had a sister who died from an overdose. I have many friends who have died from alcohol-related complications throughout their lives. And I was aware of it. I thought I was in control of my drinking for a while, but that's alcoholic thinking. And alcoholism is a progressive disease. It gets worse over time. And, after covering some of these big stories, 9/11, the 35W bridge collapse in Minneapolis, the George Floyd riots where I was shot in the hip, and you see the Twin Cities essentially burned down in these riots. That's where the riots started. And I would go out with coworkers after work, and we blow off steam. And over time, that just became more of, it's not just blowing off steam. And you see one of my dogs behind me. It became more than that. I would watch as my colleagues and friends, they could put their glass or their drink down, and I couldn't. And I thought I was in control of it, but alcohol is in control of you. And then a number of things happened back in 2005, 6, and 7. My mother died, a romance ended, my contract wasn't renewed, I had to move. Just a whole bunch of things, not excuses, but just it's life, right? And I didn't have a lot of time to grieve my mother's death and some other things. And so I would, numb myself after work, never during work, but after work or on the weekends. And it just exploded and I threw an atomic bomb into my life. It's very self-inflicted.
Well, right. I mean, it's incredible what you share in the book about you really end up losing everything, right? And it's amazing how you've come back from that, and you're now helping other people by sharing your story.
I did lose everything. It was awful and ugly. And when I got fired, that is what got my attention. And then I went to treatment, joined a program, did all the things. I was going to do anything to get back on the right track and get back to being healthy again. And, I lost my home. I was broke. I didn't have an income. And I was selling things inside my home, towels and dishes, anything that would be of value to someone else to live and to try and get back on track. And I wrote the book to show others what it takes to get back up and why it's worth it. Because my life before, when I got the DUIs, 2 of them and 2 mugshots, I was pretty much at the top of my game. I was comfortable. I knew I had a job for life. I was very well connected, which, as really matters in this business. And, I blew all of that up. And if you would have ever told me that getting sober, finding treatment and recovery, my life is 100 times better now than it was then. And I've been through the fire, so I show people in the book how to find your way back to the light. And it is possible to come back, not just a comeback, but you come back better. Here I am talking with you. And I would say my second round of TV news when I went to work for KSTP, also an ABC affiliate, they gave me a shot and I respected that. And I did everything to earn their respect. And I went on to break some of the biggest stories of my career in sobriety, and I think there's a lot to credit for that because of sobriety.
Absolutely. It really is so inspiring, and I really appreciate you sharing your story. And the book is coming soon, and I hope everyone gets out and reads it because it's so, so helpful. Thank you so much, Beth.
You're welcome. Thank you for your time. There's an author website, bethmcdmedia.com. The book will be available soon. And a final note, if I could say this, dry July, here we are. Let's celebrate sobriety.
Why not? Try something new. Thank you so much again. We'll have all that information as well on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.